Well, hello, my lords and ladies, and welcome to another episode of our Chronicles of Drunagor series. We're going to be painting a ton of this over the next several months. So if you're a fan of Chronicles of Drunagor, here we are. We have made it to, I don't know, episode 20-something. First off, I want to thank all my YouTube members, and especially the new YouTube member, Maka BR Plays. Thank you. For becoming a member, you do get early access to this on Sunday evening for the all of the week's videos. If you want to become a member, you absolutely can. Other than that, let's go. All right, for all of these contrast paints, we're going to be using the contrast paint, and you're going to mix it with some Lamia medium, about a 1-to-1 ratio. First off, I spray painted this entire thing in black and then did a zenithal highlight from above, so white from above. And we are creating that contrast before we even start painting. So we're going to be using some Nazdreg Yellow with a 1-to-1 ratio of Lamia medium. And we are going to be putting this on all of the skin of this caster. Lizard caster, or whatever it is. Cool looking little miniature. Next, again, 1-to-1 ratio Lamia medium, we're going to be using some Celestium Blue. Now we're putting this on the chest area, the pants that are connecting, and there's little spots on the top, along with on the side paneling of like our garb that our lizard caster is wearing. I guess his name is Sskar. Sskar. S-S-K-A-R. Sskar. For the arms, we're going to be using some Militarium Green. And again, where I'm getting these colors are the card art that you can see from what they provided us for the base game, or the game itself. So there is a lot of that stuff. For the leather areas around our miniature on the waist area, and then the shin guards, maybe our lizard man plays soccer on the weekends, I don't know, or football for everybody else on the outside of America. We're going to be using some of that Snakebite Leather. Again, we're going to be using this with some Lamia medium again, so make sure you do a 1-to-1 ratio on that. Alright, for the decorative little tassels that are coming down, and then the portions on top of our shoulder areas, little edging, we're going to be using some Retributor Armour. Now this video is not very long. We are trying to speed things up a little bit, so that's why we're mixing all of these contrast paints with Lamia medium. That white sticks through, and it already gives you that natural highlight where you don't really need to do a whole lot after that. It speeds up the process. Now we could spend 3 or 4 hours on one miniature like this and make it look really phenomenal. Unfortunately, for myself and probably a lot of people who are listening to this and watching this video, We have so much backlog that it's beyond comprehensible of how much stuff we got to get painted. So I need to quit my job. I need to retire, and I need to paint and produce 5 videos a week for the next 4 or 5 years to be caught up. That's the goal, if we can get there. Next, we're going to take some Black Legion. We're going to put that on the staff area. Now, you'll notice that on the top portion near the ball, if you're looking at the card art, there looks to be some type of a gold there. I kept it all black. I thought it looked cooler as a pure black staff with some glow effect that we're going to do here in a little bit. But you are more than welcome to put some gold on that top portion. All right, little hack for painting white. Now, for the card art, we can't see what any of this is. I have no clue what color this is. I'm just kind of using my imagination here. So if you have a white area that you want to create and give it to make like a dirty white, this is the technique to do. So first off, we're going to take some Soulblight Grey and we're going to put it all over those white areas. Now there is the skirt area, there is the top shoulder area, and then there's the side paneling area around the hips of our caster. For the pages of our book, we're going to use some skeleton Horde. For the crystal ball, or the top portion of our staff, we're going to use some Tesseract Glow. Keep this out because we're going to use this again here in a moment. I interpreted this as flames, because it doesn't show you in the card art, but Iyanden Yellow is a magnificent contrast paint to create flames. Alright, now that all of our base colors are done, we are going to work on some highlights. So we're going to take some P3 paints, and the first one is some Mouldy Ochre. And we're going to paint this on the raised areas and the detailed areas of our caster, to include the hands and the feet as well. Don't overdo it. Make sure your paint is thin and you are just creating a nice contrast in this. And to step that up just a little bit more, we're going to do a 50-50 mix of Mouldy Ochre and then Sulfuric Yellow. And we are going to spruce these areas up. Again, we're not overdoing it, we're just making a nice bright color to make that skin stand out just a little bit more. Since we're done with the skin, we might as well finish the eyes. I'm going to put a little blob of white into the orbital sockets of our caster. And then we're going to kind of stick to our game plan of kind of being a little bit uniform with that Tesseract Glow, and we're just going to put that into our eyes. It gives it kind of a glow effect, and then let that dry completely. And as you'll see here in the next frame, we're just going to put a little sliver, a little slit of Abaddon Black. Alright, now to create our white armor areas. We're going to use some Nazdreg Grey, and we're going to put that onto the raised areas and on the edge highlighting of our skirt. We're also going to use this into the white areas on the shoulder area. We're also going to use this on the skirt hip areas as well. This creates that white, dirty white look that I think you could use for anything. You can use for white armor, you can use for skirts like this, or robes, or any of that. So it makes it look pretty good. Alright, to push the highlights up in the blue area. Now, when I was staring at this miniature, I felt like this was kind of a focal point, that blue. Let's push those highlights just up a little bit with some Administratum Grey on the creases and the raised areas on the stomach. This adds a layer of highlights that really stands out and makes that blue, in my opinion, look really good. And we are going to highlight up our green areas, and we're going to focus on those top portions that the sun would hit with some Nurgling Green. This adds just a little bit of depth with a brightness on the top as if the sun were hitting it, with the darkness down below, and it just adds kind of that blue area that we already painted, and it makes it look just a little bit better and stand out. And as our final highlight before we do the base, we're just going to put some yellow onto that flame. I'm going to use some Flash Glitz Yellow. You can use whatever yellow you want, but I used this for just a little bit of brightness on there. Alright, coming down to the wire here, we are doing some Basilicanum Grey on the base. Now, this miniature does not have a lot of detail, but we made it look, in my opinion, very nice to fit onto our table if you were going to play this character in your campaign of Chronicles of Drunagor. And your favorite part of painting the miniature, because it means you're done, is the rim of the base. And of course, for all of our COD miniatures, we are doing Abaddon Black. And that is it. That's all she wrote. That's all she did. Pretty good. Again, these miniatures do have detail. They're not crazy detail like a Warhammer or anything like that, but they are good enough, and this looks, in my opinion, perfect to get it on the table and play away with your Sskar caster. Now, as always, I want to say thank you to everyone who watches, who leaves a comment, and a special thank you to all my YouTube members. Again, you guys will get early access to this every Sunday evening for the whole week worth of videos. So I hope you do enjoy. If you want to become a member, you can inquire about becoming a member on the Nerd Knights page. But until next time, I love you all, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, paint on.